Lawmakers today bashing the CEO of the fallen Wall Street bank Lehman Brothers, members of the House Oversight Committee, blaming him for helping to create this financial mess. But should they also be blaming themselves? Congressman Dennis Kucinich, a member of that committee, joins me right now. Congressman, good to have you.
Thank you for the opportunity to be on. Thank you.
I notice, and no offense to you, Congressman, but that a lot of these hearings are very selective, and those that might look disparagingly on the part of Democratic leadership, we're not having those hearings. We're not having hearings on Fannie and Freddie. We're having hearings on those that have a populist twist to them, greedy CEOs and their pay, which is all well and good, but they seem to be very select.
Well, you know, obviously everything should be up for a hearing, including Fannie and Freddie. But I do want to say this, that I think that the line of questioning that I was pursuing to try to find out what about the responsibility of Secretary Paulson. I mean, he was connected directly with Goldman Sachs, and what I'm concerned about is that he used his role as Treasury Secretary to push Lehman Brothers off a cliff. That's the line of questioning I was pursuing, and that has profound implications for the direction the country's headed in now.
Actually, you had one of the more intelligent series of questions on this committee. By the way, that should be a good reflection on you, but sadly it's a horrible reflection on your colleagues, so no offense. But one of the things I thought of, Congressman, in this is it is a legitimate issue to start exploring his brokerage ties and how, you know, they work their favor, because obviously the guy who's put in charge of this is a former, wouldn't you know, Goldman aide. Is your biggest concern now that eventually the Foxes are going to be guarding the hen house?
Well, my biggest concern is there's about 10 million Americans whose homes are at risk. We've got to do something for them. This bailout did nothing that would represent the needs of 10 million homeowners who could lose their home. We've got to get people back to work. You know, I think that if we prime the pump of the economy, we can get this country out of this recession that we're headed towards. And the fix that we've been given is the wrong medicine. We need to take a different direction. So that's what my concern is. But, you know, what you're talking about, the hen house being guarded by those who were responsible for creating this mess, we ought to be concerned about that, absolutely.
You know what I wonder, though, Congressman, you know, I was not a fan of these bailouts or rescues, and everyone's a victim, and you talk about the 10 million homeowners and all of that. A lot of them got into their own pickle. A lot of them signed on to mortgages they knew they couldn't afford, no income, no doc type loans that they knew in their heart of hearts didn't make sense. So why are we always making them out to be innocent, as if every single one who signed on to this was some dupe?
Well, you know, the issues of how people got into subprime loans are really interesting, because think about this. They're selling no document loans to people who may not have the highest degree of financial literacy, who didn't go to Harvard or Yale, and just, you know, have a basic education of being able to add and subtract and be able to multiply and divide. But you can't ask the American people, by and large, to have the sophistication of Wall Street investors,
Congressman,
who by the way, knew what they were doing. We are free in this
country to read our paperwork on a mortgage or not. We're free to realize that adjustable rate mortgages can go up and down.
Right.
And we're free also to be stupid, right? I'm being very rude, I guess, when I say this, but sometimes don't we have to look the American people in the face and say, you too share some culpability here, because a lot of you did not do what you should have done. And the vast majority of people who did in this country are a little bitter and angry that they might be saddled with carrying you over the finish line.
I think the question is one of trust, because people are trusting. They want to trust financial institutions when they sign a contract. They don't want to believe that anyone would try to get them in over their head.
But they would also get themselves in, right? They're not.
Look,
this is not happening a one-way street, right?
I think your point, the point that you're making, that everyone has to take some responsibility, is true. But the burden of responsibility falls most heavily on those who found this formula for being able to build packages of mortgage securities that they knew was
all good, Congressman, but I got to tell you, we all wake up in the morning. I mean, I could spend my life saying, you know what, it's a thyroid condition, but in the end, it's the sweets. It's the sweets. It's not.
You know what? I'm not. Your argument about individual responsibility, I subscribe to, but you also have to know that smart people get conned.
All right. Well, you're a good man and far more patient with this kind of stuff, but our entire national system is on the line because of it. We'll see. But, Congressman, always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dennis Kucinich. Well, this financial mess hammering stocks, but